Morning guys, welcome to 1-0-to-the-Arsenal, bringing you all the breaking news regarding Arsenal during this summer transfer window. And it's Monday the 24th of June, and we've got three bits of breaking news to bring you this morning. The first of these involves Wilfried Zaha, the Crystal Palace player. You may recall that Arsenal were linked with earlier in the transfer window. Now, it looked as though Arsenal were going to balk at that transfer, particularly as a result of the £50 million fee that was being quoted by Crystal Palace. Of course, Arsenal, as it's well been publicised by now, reportedly only have a £40 to £45 million budget, so that all of that and some would potentially have been blown on Zaha. The news coming out overnight is that Unai Emery specifically has asked the board to back him and inject some further cash so that Arsenal can sign Wilfried Zaha. It appears as though Zaha is a favourite of Unai Emery's and is a target of his, and a key target as that. So we shall wait to see how this one develops. Very interesting news coming out around Wilfried Zaha. He, of course, has come out and said that he is now looking for a new challenge, ideally looking for a Champions League club to play his football at over the next couple of seasons. Zaha is, of course, also a boyhood Arsenal fan, so you know there are connections there. He does. And he would likely want to play for Arsenal, albeit not the Champions League this season. So very interesting to see how the board and the club react to this request from Unai Emery. We shall monitor this one over the coming days. Arsenal have been linked with a few wingers over the past few weeks. Yannick Carrasco, of course, that one's gone a little cold. And there's been some very interesting news coming out of China regarding, and some statements regarding the club who have suspended Carrasco. And Carrasco, of course, in his response, looks to be disillusioned at the way he's been treated. But Yannick Carrasco, Ryan Fraser, and now Wilfried Zaha being linked with Arsenal. If we look at Zaha's stats over last season, how did he perform in the Premier League? 34 games, 10 goals, 5 assists. So, and for a club that's really sort of a mid-table at best club, that's a very good output indeed. Arsenal, of course, have been lacking in those wide positions, and that's a key area of improvement this summer transfer window. So Zaha would most definitely fit the bill. He's got pace, he's the ability to dribble, carry the ball. Palace were outstanding on the counter-attack, most notably at Arsenal at the end of the season, when of course they dented Arsenal's Champions League hopes. And Zaha has contributed to that. Of course, he has now several years of Premier League experience. He's 26 years old, coming into the peak of his careers as a wide midfield and a forward. So I think would most definitely be a major upgrade on what Arsenal currently have in the wide positions. So moving on to the second bit of breaking news this morning, and that involves Kieran Tierney, the Celtic left back. Of course, Arsenal have been had made an initial bid of £15 million a couple of days ago for Celtic's Kieran Tierney, the left back, of course, playing up in Scotland, the Scottish international. That bid was rejected immediately by Celtic, and there have been some reports in the press, most notably from John Hartson, the ex-Arsenal striker, coming out and saying that a £15 million bid for someone of Tierney's stature and potential was pretty laughable. So coming overnight, the news coming out is that Arsenal had submitted a second bid in excess of £19 million, the fee that Lyon paid for Moussa Dembele for Celtic last summer. So a fee in excess of that being reported submitted by Arsenal. However, that has also been rejected. So a second bid of over £19 million been rejected by Arsenal. It looks as though that Tierney is a major target for Arsenal, of course, for that troublesome left-back spot. They're looking to bring someone in to embed that spot for the next, 6, 7, 8 years. Tierney looks to be the one they're looking for, but Celtic are looking to be holding out for around £25 million. and based on this second bid that's been rejected at 19 million, it looks as though Arsenal are going to have to pay in excess of 20 million pounds if they want to land Kieran Tierney. There have been some rumours around some potential player sales or exchanges, potentially on loan or for sale. Some of Arsenal's younger players, Nketiah and Smith Rowe, and of course Carl Jenkinson, the Arsenal right back, who they are looking to offload as a potential make way into that deal. But as it stands currently, Celtic have not accepted any bids and are holding out for a much bigger bid. So we shall wait to see whether Arsenal return for a third bid in order to land Kieran Tierney. And the last bit of breaking news I wanted to bring you this morning is around Lucas Torreira, Arsenal's stalwart midfielder. Of course, only been with the club for a season after he signed from Sampdoria last summer. Torreira fast became a fan's favourite over the course of the season. One of Arsenal's more shining lights, would we say, in what ended up being a disappointing season. But he, of course, has come out in recent days and weeks quite openly saying that he's actually not adapted to life in England or in London over the past season, which was alarming, I think, for a number of Arsenal fans. You know, he has become a fan's favourite at the club. I don't think many fans would like to see him leave the club, but Lucas Torreira looks to be struggling to adapt to life in England. And, of course, the ex-Sampdoria coach is now been appointed the Milan coach, and he's very interested in bringing Lucas Torreira across to Milan. Now, Milan have come out overnight, reportedly put on the table a bid for Lucas Torreira, so things hotting up on this one, and it looks to be an initial 2-year loan deal that they've proposed, with a fee of somewhere in the region of around £5 to £7 million for that loan fee, with an option to buy at the end of that period for around £34 to £35 million. So very interesting developments around Lucas Torreira. Of course, if he was to be sold, Arsenal would need to fill that gap. Prior to him arriving, that was again a troublesome spot for Arsenal, that holding midfield player. And if Torreira was to leave, who would Arsenal bring in? Who is available on the market? Who is on the market? Who is good enough, if not better potentially than Torreira, but within that sort of price range. Of course, if Arsenal did accept a bid of this ilk, where it was a loan fee followed by an option to buy, they'd only be getting £5 to £7 million in at this point in time. Of course, we know that's really not a substantial increase on the minimal budget they already have to play with. So very interested to see how Arsenal play this one out. How are they going to handle this situation with Torreira? Are they going to flat out reject it? Are they going to potentially accept it? And if they do, who would you like to see brought in to replace Torreira? Who is on the market that you think would fit the bill, that has got the experience, that power, and that holding midfield player that is key to the midfield? Who would you like to see brought into the team if Torreira was to be sold? Please leave your comments and your suggestions on that below, and on any of the other two transfers as well. What are your thoughts on Tierney and Wilfried Zaha? Of course, if you like the content, please like this video, and of course subscribe. There will be another video coming out later today, as and when any further news breaks on any of these Arsenal transfers and any others that are coming out. Alright guys, we'll speak on the next video, and until then, take care.